is baseball season. So let's do a little season preview here. We can talk some MLB win totals, Dave.
Yeah, so you won't find this, housed in the markets and features on site, but this is straight from our data team who they do these, one-off stand-alone simulations for us at our request when they have the data, and we got win totals. I have a bunch of data for this. If anybody's curious, they can reach out to me directly because I have minimum, average minimum, average maximum wins, the mean wins, everything. Highest and lowest and everything that we can dig through to try and find some semblance of an edge ahead of the season. I will pull up the whole grid that I put together, I guess, or the chart rather, and we'll just talk through a couple notable points because we could spend forever on this, and we're not going to do that. So I'll look at, I guess, the biggest discrepancies first. Let's do that. So some candidates here, model expects to overperform: Cardinals, Athletics, Nationals. Obviously not good teams, probably a factor in this. I will also point out that the Rockies here have the largest discrepancy to go over, probably because the model sometimes doesn't rate historically terrible teams as bad as they actually are. It can maybe struggle to comprehend how bad a team can actually be. And I will say that they have the lowest minimum total wins out of anyone in here. That was 42.4. So still a very basement season in the cards for the Rockies. And I would not put too much stock into this larger discrepancy here because they're the Rockies. But model does expect some of these poorer teams to overperform. When we looked at the futures real quick, we did see the Athletics with a little bit of an edge in the division. They might be a team worth looking at to make a wild card run. We have them right at 82 total wins, so right at a 500 year, but 6.5 over their sportsbook total. Nationals are going to be, competing at the bottom of the NL East, but we do have them with 4.5 wins over. But see, 70 wins still well under 500 here. Some of the teams that are most expected to go under, I find more interesting. They're good teams for the most part. I guess not by the guys on this banner, but there's a few others that I didn't put in this banner. But the Reds, 6 wins under their total. We have the Yankees projected for 5.9 wins under their total. I think just only a little bit over 500 at 85.6. Returning much of the same roster, but Garrett Cole is going to be out till probably June. Carlos Rodon is going to be out, I think, 4 or 5 weeks. They might have a bit of a hole to dig themselves out of here, even if they make the playoffs and they go on a run. They might not be that far over 500 in a division the model really thinks is going to beat up on each other. The Red Sox also projected for, let's see here, 5.8 wins under their total, just under 500. The Blue Jays, I believe, are one of the better outlooks overall in terms of total wins, but only 0.2 over their sports book total. Look at the AL East. Also, 88.7 wins for the Blue Jays, 85.6 for the Yankees, 81.7 for the Red Sox. You could probably forget about the Rays here. 81. Look at, that's just a really, really tight division here. Even the Orioles are expected to be one of the top contenders in that division. Bounce back a little bit. Maybe Pete Alonso gives them just what they need. Couple other things I want to look at. The Dodgers. So projected for the most wins at 100 on the dot. Also projected to go under their total of 102.5. So maybe seeing that even an elite team might be a little bit overvalued here, at least in regards to the win total market. And then a couple of, I guess you call them props that I'm not saying these are best bets. I'm just saying these are things that I'm seeing looking at the win totals and then what's on the sports books. You guys decide for yourselves in this regard. But win total props, most team wins over under 104.5. Probably not going to be many teams going over 100. It's very rare multiple teams go over 100 or 105 plus wins here. We have the Dodgers for 100 on the dot. Only the Mets are projected for more than 90. So seems like a pretty solid bet to go under 104.5 wins. That is almost even money to go under on DraftKings. Another prop, teams to record 100 plus losses over under 1.5. White Sox and Rockies leading the way in this regard. However, we do only actually project one team to record 100+ losses. So you look at sorry, let me just pull them up. Where are they? Where are those Chicago White Sox? Those pesky White Sox. Chicago White Sox 69.2. Oh, it actually is over 100 or under 100 losses. Sorry, but still flirting with the basement. The Rockies here 66.8, flirting with the basement. Someone's going to be absolutely terrible. They're not. All of these teams are not going to go avoid 100 loss seasons. But if you think only one of them is truly bad, it was like plus 230 for under 1.5 teams to go at least 100+ losses. And then most wins, I think, is interesting because if it's not the Dodgers, there's a ton of value out there on somebody because every single other team is 12-1 or longer. Our top 5 outside or top projected outside the Dodgers, who are minus 165 to have the most wins. And of course, that makes sense. Their team is absolutely stacked, but a cold streak or an injury could be all it takes to throw them off that track. You get the Mets 17-1. We project them at 94.5 wins. The Blue Jays 15-1 at 88.7 wins, and the Mariners at 17-1. We're also right around the Blue Jays at 87.4 wins. So the top contenders here, all pretty solid play, especially with the odds. If you think anybody can chase down the Dodgers, I would urge you to look at this market because the odds are so long. The Yankees are the shortest besides the Dodgers. They're at plus 1,200. And, according to the model, they're around a top 10, I believe, not sorting by win totals, but projected to go under, and they're 12-1. So somebody out there, if it's not the Dodgers, is going to win this. Obviously, it could be dead heat, and you could split, but a couple interesting candidates in there for sure. If you think somebody overperforms or goes on a run, you might find yourself with an intriguing cash out or hedge opportunity down the line.
I like it. Yeah, I think it's juicy. The fun market when you see huge numbers like 17-1 for some pretty high projections here. And the Dodgers being the Dodgers gives us a chance at that. Yeah, also interesting just in general, I'm tempted to just play Dodgers under. I feel like that might be my preseason play here. And does it sound fun to be fading the Dodgers every single day, knowing I have that in my pocket? No. But I don't know. As far as season-long journeys to embark upon go, I don't hate that when we show pretty significant value there,
Yeah. And then, you can maybe try to pick the spots with the underdogs throughout the season and, correlate that a little bit, try to take advantage.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like in sports in general, not just baseball, sometimes when you have a dynasty like that, they usually do reach a level of complacency at some point. And you have the year where it's like, okay, they're just going through the motions right now. Not saying that's going to come for the Dodgers this year, and they are certainly good enough to win anyway, even if it does. But it's an interesting angle, to say the least. All right, cool. And shout out to my Tigers, by the way. I only saw a -2 for the projection there.
Yeah, not too bad. Huh?
I honestly thought it might be worse given Tarek Skubal's uncertainty long-term with that franchise.
83.5 over 500, buddy.
I'll take it. I'll take anything over 500. All right. That is great. I'm excited. Baseball season is here. You'll see more baseball content from us on this show in the very near future. Lots of fun ways to bet that sport. And we're excited to take you through many of them as next week gets here.